Welcome. I'm Shaima El-Ghazali from Diversity Resources and our sister company, Belong365.com. Thank you for being here with us today. We're excited to walk you through what we've built with Belong365 and why. Today, we'll be covering four main topics. First, the landscape. So what's happening in the US right now and why it matters. Second, our goals with Belong365, basically what we've built and the thinking behind it. And third, how Belong365 is being used across entire organizations. And finally, how to boost usage, which is basically ways to get more value for your investment. And with that, I'll pass it on to Eric to get us started with some broader context.
Thank you, Shaima. I'm Eric Toll, president of both Diversity Resources and Belong365. So yeah, 2025, there's a lot going on in the world. So let's start with the inauguration, 4 months ago or so. The current U.S. presidential administration, one of the main things that came out of the gate on inauguration day was an executive order banning diversity, equity, inclusion efforts, DEI, in the federal workplace. So that's one facet, but then there were some efforts also to impact the private sector and other workplaces nationwide and even in other countries. Now, of course, the executive order can really only affect the workplace, but there was also a threat that the Attorney General would be tasked with suing 7 companies. That has not come to pass, but I think every workplace in the United States wondered, would it be us? So that put a lot of fear, not just into the whole world of DEI, but business in general. And that coupled with the threats to lose federal funding. So for example, colleges and universities, but even private sector industry such as aerospace. A lot of companies had to shift their efforts at making all of their employees and their customers feel welcomed and included. A second factor that has come into play, of course, was the tariffs, which were imposed upon most of our trading partners around the world, in most cases pretty high amounts. That put a lot of uncertainty, in particular, into the business world. How is this going to impact our costs? How is this going to impact sales? How is this going to impact the bottom line? Put a lot of uncertainty into the business world, both in the United States and worldwide. Shaima, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Eric. And despite all of that, more companies are moving forward than pulling back. A growing number of organizations are actually increasing their investment in inclusion. There was a recent study in Paradigm that showed that actually 23% of companies are increasing their inclusion budgets in 2025, while 58% are maintaining them. And just in the past few months, shareholders at American Express, Apple, Coca-Cola, John Deere, Visa, Walt Disney, and just dozens of others have voted with 98% approval or more to stay the course. And that's because they see the operational value. And I'll pass it on to Eric to tell you more about that.
That's right. Thank you, Shaima. Shareholders are, of course, investors or owners. And, if I own something, I want it to do really well. And this wasn't like, all right, 60% said, yeah, let's keep doing DEI, and 40% said, let's stop. In each of these cases, it was 98 or 99%. It was resounding. And that is because these people wish to make a return on their investment, and they know that DEI is good for business. And this has been proven by a number of studies. Shaima, do we have that study handy? Thank you so much. So the first number, 35%, that is the increase in financial performance at companies that have an inclusion program, 35%. What would most companies do to get a profit increase of 1 or 2%, 3%? That's a big win. 35% higher financial performance. That's according to McKinsey. 17% increase in productivity. Whether your organization is for profit or not, a 17% increase in productivity is massive. Again, what would most organizations do to carve out a 2 or 3% increase in productivity? 17%. And finally, a 22% decrease in turnover. Finding, hiring, training good employees is difficult. It costs a lot of money. And think of all that, especially since a lot of our friends here are in HR, how much easier your world is when you get to keep and retain those really good employees. And then, of course, there have been specific instances in the business world. One of the most famous is the experiences of Costco and Target, both well-known retailers based here in the United States. In response to the executive order, each of these organizations had a very different approach. Target immediately, at least publicly, said they're dialing back their efforts. Costco did quite the opposite, and they were one of the original companies to say, we are staying the course. And here's the result. Target, this is through the month of April. So this is in the first, 2.5 months. Target has seen 5 million fewer store visits as a result of publicly announcing they were pulling back on DEI. Costco, meanwhile, reaffirming their commitment, has seen 7.7 million increases in store visits. Now, I think you'd see this type of analogy in any type of industry. Target also lost $12.4 billion in market value. Very costly decision indeed. And this brings us to the next part. What is Belong365 and why did we create it? A lot of people on the webinar today are longtime subscribers to and familiar with our diversity calendar. Customers have told us for years that it was so much more than a diversity calendar, because what they really love is all the educational tools built into it. So we reimagined this and took it to the next level. And there are basically 3 main things we heard from customers like you. How can we help you better going forward, in particular in today's dynamic landscape? And there are 3 main things we did. We want to give you greater flexibility with the product, provide you with more value, and make it easier to use. That was resoundingly the feedback we received from our subscribers. So, greater flexibility. One of the responses from workplaces, in particular in the United States, to a lesser degree overseas, workplaces know they need to continue this work, but they might wish to do so in a slightly different manner. And one way that organizations might do that is they might rename their efforts. And I apologize, I don't have the exact name right in front of me, but I know when Google publicly announced that it was dialing back its efforts and they were no longer to have a chief diversity officer, well, they just changed her title to Chief of Google or Belonging and Engagement. It's kind of just a different name. So we want to give you flexibility with the brand name, with the product name. And as all of our customers know, our product, which we now call a hub, the hub is wildly customizable. Just about anything you can think of that you'd like to have in your hub, whether it be the name of it, the look and feel, the imagery, the content, can be customized to suit your exact needs. Because different workplaces have different approaches to the current environment. So we are giving you that increased flexibility that you need to be compliant or at least avoid any unwanted attention. A few of our customers, in particular in the government sector, have also said, gee, we'd love to have an invoice in the future from a company with a different name. You can now also be billed by Belong365. All right, with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Shaima.
Thanks, Eric. So let's talk a bit more about how we're delivering more value, especially for busy teams navigating budget pressure and competing priorities. So we've added more value through learning and consolidation. Many teams are still juggling separate tools, maybe one for a calendar, one for training, maybe another for internal planning. It's scattered, sometimes inefficient, and hard to scale. Belong365 brings all of that into one place. So you don't just get a calendar, you get built-in planning guidance, dozens of learning resources that we regularly update, and micro-learning modules. That means less time spent chasing down resources and more support for your internal efforts. We've also heard a lot from customers that traditional training just isn't cutting it anymore. Off-the-shelf learning often feels too generic, and it's not tailored to their industry or the real issues that their teams care about. So with Belong365, we've built something a little more practical. Our teams can actually create custom micro-learning for you on topics that matter to your team. So instead of adjusting your culture to match the training adjusts to support your culture. It's all in one platform, so your team isn't jumping between different systems or chasing down different resources. And third, finally, we've also simplified the user experience. We've worked with external consultants to make it easier to use, and that means a cleaner homepage, intuitive filters, and fewer clicks to find what matters. And now I also wanted to move on to the next part and talk to you about how Belong365 is a company-wide resource. We've seen it used across entire organizations, and that means HR and engagement, marketing and communications, recruiting and retention, and even CSR and community teams. And with that, I'll pass it on to Eric to tell you a bit more about specific use cases for each of these.
Yeah, Shaima, thank you so much. And I'm going to keep saying it. I love diversity. I mean, if somebody's wearing clothing I'm not familiar with, or that cuisine I've never tried before, that's where I gravitate. I love diversity. And the job titles that we have amongst our subscribers is incredibly diverse. So a lot of different companies have used what in the past, the diversity calendar, and going forward, the Belong365 hub. They've used it in a variety of manners. By far, the most popular job title amongst our subscribers is HR and HR related titles. But all the other titles on the screen are also people currently on our subscriber list, currently using the product. So we encourage each and every one of you to share the product or enterprise-wide. Well, for a couple of reasons. Number one, you're going to get a lot more benefit out of it and a lot more awareness and behavioral change. But the other thing is going forward, you can share the cost across enterprise a lot more easily. Rather than having one department pay for it, it can be a variety because it can be used by we want to point out to you, every single title on the job screen, we have dozens of contacts at organizations like yours that we work with in those areas. So in terms of, HR, a lot of these, some of the organizations below are part of HR, but getting into those specific job titles, engagement and experience, we're a small team, 14 people. I cannot tell you how much our employees enjoy getting a shout out for their specific religious holiday. We have 3 Muslim teammates, 2 Hindu, 3 Roman Catholic, 1 Jewish. One of the 2 biggest Muslim holidays are the Eids, the one that ends Ramadan and the one that ends the Hajj. And 2 weekends ago was Eid, marking the end of the Hajj. I made it very clear to our team, they are not working on Friday or Monday. Don't ask anything of them. And we also gave them the appropriate shout out, Eid Mubarak. Our employees definitely feel more engaged because of that. We have virtually 0 turnover here. It's because we engage our employees and we respect them. All right, marketing. It's a common misnomer in the United States that Hanukkah is the Jewish Christmas. And routinely, I ask friends and family all the time, what's the #1 Jewish holiday? They all say Hanukkah. It's not. And Hanukkah is not the Jewish Christmas. Well, what if your marketing team was positioning something for the holiday season and showing Hanukkah as the Jewish Christmas? So the Belong365 hub will help your marketing team communicate with your customers in a manner that's respectful and shows that we understand you. Communications, same thing. Respectful communications both within your organization and externally. It's really important to have that cultural awareness, religious awareness, et cetera, to be fully inclusive of both your employees internally and your customers, students, whatever, externally. Recruiting, engagement, retention. One of my favorite inclusion events of the year was when the current, I don't remember if he's president or CEO of Marriott, came out and publicly said, we are staying the course with DEI. Within 24 hours, he received 40,000 emails from employees. Let me say that another way. Emails from 40,000 employees saying thank you. What would it take to get that kind of a response from your employee base? Saying we love working here. And you can also add your own company specific events. These can be, one of our customers is Penske, and a few years ago they wanted to add National Truck Driver Appreciation Week. Not something relevant to most of our customers, but we added that for Penske. You might have a training event next week. Resource groups. Our customers that get the most value and the highest usage out of the Belong365 hub add their resource group events. And I will share with you this, that when you add an event to your Belong365 hub, it will automatically sync to any high traffic platform with which you have it integrated. For most of our customers, that's a Microsoft. So if you were to add a lunchtime event next Wednesday at 12 p.m. CST, that will automatically show up in your Outlook, SharePoint, Teams, and any other platform that you have it synced to. All right, now we're going to turn to the fourth and final section, which is how to get the most value out of your investment. And we're basically going to talk about 4 things. Number 1 is, as you might know, we have started a new program this year of offering free coaching sessions. You can book as many coaching sessions as you wish. We will be providing the link in the chat to book that coaching session. And by the way, as we launch this sister company, please be patient as you receive an email from Belong365 or an email from Diversity Resources. It's the same team behind the 2 brands. So you can book a coaching session and we will help you integrate into your high traffic platforms, fully customize the hub the way you want it, and help you add your own events. So high traffic platforms. Again, most of our customers use Microsoft products. Remember, we do not make software. There is nothing for you to download. You simply add the Belong365 hub to your existing high traffic platforms, which again, for most of our customers is Outlook, SharePoint, Teams. I think I'm getting this right, Viva, Engage. If you use Google products, the hub also works with Google Calendar and other products in the Google Workplace suite. We use Slack internally, so we have our Belong365 hub integrated into Slack. So we can help you add your Belong365 hub to any way that you communicate with your employees. Customizations. We have hundreds of subscribing organizations, and I will tell you this, no 2 hubs look alike. The hub can be customized to your needs, only limited by your imagination. The hub can be called whatever you want. The colors, branding, look, and feel. Content can be added, content can be removed. You can feature different content. Simply contact us, support@diversityresources.com or support@belong365.com, and we will help you do that. And then with adding your own events, Esurance is a customer, and one of the clever things they've done is that they've added their paydays. And paydays are simple because they're usually every other Friday. If an employee says, hey, when are we getting paid? Look at our hub. But you can add paydays. You can add your own company-specific events. We highly encourage you to add resource group events. Our most successful customers do that. Training or learning events, etc. Add it to your admin panel, which is super easy, and that'll radiate out to any other platform with which you have your hub integrated. All right. Shaima, I will turn it over to you. What else would you like to add?
I think you've covered it, Eric, but I just wanted to show everyone basically what you were talking about here. So on the home page, you can customize the sandbox up here. You can change the photo. You can change the colors based on your branding. You can change the 5 tiles here. So these are dynamic. They change every month or more to feature the latest resources that we've added to the calendar. But you can change the links if you wish to something internal or something static. You can change the photos as well. On the learning resources, in any of these categories, you could add your own if you wish. You can also, you can let us know. This is, of course, dependent on your subscription. And on the calendar, as well as Eric mentioned, you can add your own events and they will show up with their own little icon next to the name. For example, instead of the little purple and red icons, you will see the icon that you wish to add for that type of event. So for example, if it's a specific resource group that has an icon associated with it, it can change to that. And yes, all of this helps Belong365 feel like an extension of your company, not a third-party tool just sitting on the side. And we believe that when people see their work reflected in the experience of the platform, they're more likely to use it consistently. And with that, we'll open it up to questions. And while we wait for those to come in, Eric, feel free to jump in if there's anything else you'd like to add.
Yes, and one of the most powerful things we'd like to point out for our subscribers here is the addition of not just micro-learning, again, because people want shorter and shorter bursts of information, but custom micro-learning. Depending on your subscription level and the size of your subscription level, you can receive a certain amount of custom micro-learnings. You can add on more by purchase if you wish also, because one of the problems with off-the-shelf micro-learning is they're not going to have that one topic that you need that's specific to your business, or it may not be branded for you. So we encourage you to talk to our sales team about that. Who's got the time to run out and find a video production company and to create something for them, or even internally? This is something we can usually turn around in about a week. And they're, again, depending on your subscription and subscription level, these might already be included in your subscription, or you can add them on. People are busier than ever before, and this is a great way to get exactly the training and learning that you need for your team. All right, what fun questions do we have out there?
It seems like we might have answered everything, but feel free to, we have a couple of minutes left. Please feel free to submit any questions in the chat. I believe some were asking about the sources of the data. We can share that in the follow-up email, which will also have the recording of this webinar in case you'd like to show it to the rest of your team.
Sources of data, is that the numbers that we shared? Yes. You can go to belong365.com. It's on our homepage, and for each of the three numbers, it tells you the source. So Deloitte, Gallup, and McKinsey, I believe. And I'm seeing that people love that it can be shared company-wide. That's exactly right. I mean, this information about people and what makes them different and how to keep them happy is really valuable for everyone within an organization. I mean, the first word in human resources is human. And we're helping employees understand how humans all differ and how to have humans all get along. So. Danielle, thank you for your suggestion regarding engagement and email forward. We might have something like that already. I will study what you asked. Yes, everyone's subscription has been automatically forwarded to the Belong365 hub. In theory, there is nothing you need to do. However, at some point, we do suggest that you update your ICS feed in Outlook and the iframe embed in your intranet. But in the meantime, your old URL does redirect to the new URL. Yes, we are here to support federal contractors and all of our friends in the federal government.
So we had a question about Slack. So what it looks like in Slack is basically it integrates as a calendar. So we can also share some links in terms of how that looks, or some instructions if you'd like, how that would turn out in Slack after the call. We had another question, Eric, saying you have a great 1-minute video highlighting Pride this month. Will you have a highlight video for each month like that?
Well, Shaima is our creative director, so she knows that answer best. Shaima?
Well, we don't do every single month. However, we do pick some of the key events, and we do some highlight videos. So we try to do at least one for each month. But unfortunately, covering every single event would be difficult. But we do highlight some. Yes.
Yeah, and Eric, great question. And some months don't have any nationally known inclusion events. Well, the month of July does have, the month of July is now, well, it's French American Heritage Month, and it's also Disability Independence Month. So, but like August really doesn't have any nationally recognized inclusion events. December does not, strangely enough. January doesn't. But you will find for a lot of top level events, things that people search for, whether it's Ramadan or Pride Month, you will find additional assets. For example, we have these lovely infographics. There's usually a couple infographics per month highlighting a key event, something that you can download and share. So we usually do look for content like that. And if there's something you want to see, send me an email. My first name is ERICH at Diversity Resources. We love customer ideas. All right. There was kind of another interesting, go ahead.
We had a question about whether it's possible to maintain the previous calendar instead of adopting the new hub.
Yes. Yes, and there are a couple, great question. There are a couple ways, couple main changes we've made that you can certainly revert to. Number one is the default access is to the hub. If you wish to maintain the default access, if you click on the link, it goes to your calendar. We'll set that up. We'll set that up for you. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Alina. We will set that up for you. The other one is the new default view is the current week. If you look at Apple Calendar, Google Calendar, a lot of the main calendar systems out there, they focus on the current week. So that's the new default view for us. If you prefer the previous version, which is the current month, we can also enable that for you also. Great question.
And Susan, in terms of the increase in budgets statistic, I will share that afterwards. I will have to check for you whether it's solely private organizations alone. So I will share, we will definitely share the source afterwards as well in the follow-up email.
And Wendy had a problem trying to share Juneteenth on Slack. Wendy will connect with you offline regarding that. Everything in your hub, think of it as a secret mini Wikipedia that we create for you. And just look in your URL when you're on the Juneteenth article, for example, just copy the URL, paste it into Slack. It should work. And if not, we use it in Slack all the time, but Wendy, we'd be happy to troubleshoot with you if necessary.
And Caroline, in terms of communications regarding the new look and navigation, if in your calendar under the help icon, there is a link that takes you to an overview of all the changes and how to use the calendar. And as my colleague Cece mentioned, we're also working on a video overview to walk through all of the different hub resources. So that will be also shared with everyone under the help icon in your hub soon as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, we created Belong365 to help you, and this is in response to the majority of our customers. And if there is any feature you like or don't like, I mean, we were very happy with what we were doing last year. But if there's something you need different, please let us know. I hesitate to call our product a software because it's really somewhere between a software and a service. And we love service. And I think you will find that you will always receive a response from us within 24 hours. And if there's something about the Belong365 hub that you need different, or you're just, hey, I just want something called diversity calendar, just let us know and we'll hook you up.
And I think that brings us to the end. I want to be respectful of everyone's time. So thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. We will be sending the recording and a follow-up with the statistics tomorrow. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions, both on email or if you'd like to book a coaching session through the link that we shared on the chat. Thank you so much. Have a great day.